When I say I didn't know my husband had another wife, people think I'm exaggerating. They say, how could you not see? But you don't go searching for betrayal when you think you're safe. The truth doesn't always arrive as thunder. It seeps in quietly. A half-folded shirt that doesn't belong to you. A perfume that lingers too long. A smile that doesn't reach the eyes. The night I found her, his other wife, she was sitting on the edge of the guest bed, hands trembling in her lap. The moment our eyes met, I knew my life would never return to what it was. And what she told me that night changed everything. Daniel and I had been married for 12 years. Not perfect years, but steady. He was a logistics manager, methodical, calm. I was an art teacher. We shared a modest house with ivy along the porch and the faint hum of laughter most evenings. We were ordinary and I liked that. But ordinary began to fade slowly. It started with his phone, once left carelessly on the counter, now always in his pocket. Then the new cologne, too sharp, too foreign. And the late night showers that filled the bathroom with steam and silence. I told myself it was stress. Maybe work was getting to him. Maybe I was imagining things. But small changes add up. The quiet becomes loud. Then came the guest room. We rarely used it, except when my sister visited. But suddenly Daniel started spending more time in there. He said it was for organizing old files. Yet I'd find the bed slightly creased, as if someone had sat there recently. One night, I caught the faint scent of lavender drifting from that room. I hadn't used lavender in years. I remember standing by the door, hand on the knob, heart heavy, with a question I didn't want answered. It was a Thursday when I found the envelope. I'd been cleaning the guest room, dusting the dresser when the edge of white caught my eye. A document tucked beneath a stack of Daniel's old receipts. I pulled it out and froze. It was a marriage certificate. His name, printed neatly. The date 6 years after ours. And a woman's name I didn't know, Mara Collins. For a moment, I couldn't breathe. My hands shook so hard that the paper rustled like dry leaves. I sat on the edge of the bed, staring at it, waiting for the world to make sense again. That night, Daniel came home late. I waited at the kitchen table, the certificate laid flat in front of me. When he saw it, his face drained of color. Evelyn, he whispered, voice small. I can explain, but explanations don't heal betrayal. They only stretch it out. He confessed in fragments. Mara was a woman he'd met through work. She lived in another town. He'd told her he was divorced. He'd built an entire second life, a mirror of ours, with a different reflection. And then came the part that shattered me most. She didn't know about me either. He said she was staying here for a few days, that she didn't know I existed until now. My head spun. Here, I whispered, in our home. He nodded, ashamed. That night, I heard footsteps above me while I lay in bed, soft, hesitant. I knew she was up there, the other wife, the ghost of my marriage. The next morning, I climbed the stairs slowly, every step heavy with anger and disbelief. The guest room door was ajar. Inside, Mara sat on the bed, tall, graceful, her face streaked with tears. You're Evelyn, she said softly. I didn't know. I nodded. Neither did I. We talked for hours, two strangers stitched together by one man's lies. She told me Daniel had promised her stability, family, a future. She had believed him the same way I once had. When Daniel came home that evening, I didn't scream. I didn't throw things. I simply looked at him and said, you need to leave. He tried to speak, but I raised a hand, not to explain, to pack. He left the next morning. Mara left too a day later, but before she did, she hugged me. He lied to both of us, she whispered. Let's not let him ruin us too. Peace came in fragments. Quiet mornings, deep sleep, courage to start over. I sold the house in spring, unable to bear its memories. I moved to a small cottage by the coast, painted the walls with new colors, and learned to breathe again. Mara wrote to me months later. She was studying counseling, learning to help others heal. I smiled reading her words, realizing we had both found our way through the wreckage. Daniel's downfall was quiet but complete. His job gone, his reputation fading. I didn't gloat. I simply forgave him, not for him, but for myself. Forgiveness, I realized, isn't a gift to the betrayer. It's the key that frees the betrayed. Now when I walk along the shore, I wear my wedding ring on a chain, a reminder not of loss but of strength, of survival, of becoming. When I look back now, I don't see a story of betrayal anymore. I see a story of awakening, the quiet kind that doesn't need to shout to be strong. Sometimes the people we love most are the ones who teach us what love isn't. Sometimes the home we lose is the one that sets us free. If you've ever discovered a truth that shattered your world, remember this. You are not broken because someone lied to you. You are brave because you faced it and still chose to rebuild. Would you have done what I did? Tell me in the comments. And if you believe healing begins with truth, don't forget to subscribe so more stories like mine can find their way to you. Until next time, take care of your heart. It's the only home that never lies.